On my wrist today is my favorite watch. It is the Rolex Day-Date in 40 mil with the Roman numerals, the champagne dial, and the president bracelet. I've been wearing this every day. I don't think I've taken it off for at least the past 3.5 weeks. So watches like this make me think there is hope for me, like I could be a one watch person again, a little bit more like a sane and normal person and not the crazy watch collector that I know I am. And in that vein, let me introduce this video. So this video is for those of you who are as big of watch fans as I am. I'm a huge, unashamed watch fan. I love everything related to watches and presenting watches and talking with fellow watch collectors. So I attended the Watch and Clock Collector Convention held by the NAWCC that was in July of 2023 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I know anytime you say convention, when it's not related to your profession, it implies a sense of nerdiness. And you know what? I'm not going to disagree with you. I am an unashamed watch nerd. And if you are like me, you will absolutely love these types of meetups because you learn new things. And if you've been a watch fan as long as I have, you can get a little cocky and you can think, well, I know what I like. I know almost everything about watches. If I knew any more, I would be a watchmaker. I just need to go to school and get certified and I could be a watchmaker. I mean, you kind of think that you've learned it all. And I learned going to this collector convention that I'm basically a newbie. I saw things that I'd never even considered before. Like I didn't know they existed. And that level of discovery brought me back to when I was a new watch fan, and it was very exciting. So I really appreciated that out of the experience. In this corner, Brent Miller Jewelers had some watches from their authorized dealer, but they wheeled in the rally car, the M3, the BMW, of which I have been fortunate enough to drive in times past. So you see this cool rally car over there. You look over here and you see Breitling. Breitling was a brand sponsor of this convention, and they sent Watchfred of Instagram, Fred Mandelbaum, if you're more familiar with his real name, the brand historian for Breitling, and he did a seminar. So I went to a seminar where Fred Mandelbaum presented the history of the Breitling chronograph, and that was absolutely phenomenal. I learned so much in that seminar. And not only that, but he brought with him some museum pieces, some vintage Breitling chronographs that I will never see again. I mean, they're just one of a kind. So I got to be up close, photograph the watches and see the design inspiration for a lot of the lovely retro-inspired modern releases that Breitling has done, and talk to the man behind this great direction, or at least a significant force behind the great direction of focusing on historic models. And Fred signed my own copy of a Breitling book that I own. So, I mean, that was really cool. And then, you look all around the room, and I'm talking specifically about the Watch Mart or the watch market. And I've never seen so many watches in one place. It really was quite astonishing. And you could find everything there. You could find obscure vintage references. I talked to somebody who was an authorized dealer for Marathon watches, and he showed me all of the Marathon products that were out. I saw Atmos clocks, I saw carriage clocks and watch art, and I saw, signage and memorabilia. I saw modern references. I saw basically anything you're looking for, you could find at that Watch Mart. And that was one of the other exciting things about this event. Now, it's not just a big buy, sell, and trade. That certainly is a major aspect of the convention, but you can go to seminars, you can go to workshops, you can take classes, you can take tours. I mean, you can take the already dangerous level of knowledge that you have right now and level up. And that's kind of a fun thing. So I had an absolute blast. I met a lot of great people. I looked at a lot of amazing watches and I learned new things. And that's a very exciting thing for somebody who has been in this hobby, a hyper watch fan for the past decade. That's a very exciting thing. So I experienced that, and I'm looking forward to going next year. Next year, it's not going to be in Pennsylvania. It will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee. and I've never visited that state. So I'm looking forward to doing that big time. Now, in addition to going out for that collector convention, it also coincided with a fun event. Hamilton, one of my favorite affordable brands, they opened up their first United States location for a boutique, a brand boutique. And they decided not to go to New York or Los Angeles or Miami or Las Vegas. No, they went to the birthplace of this once great American brand. They went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and they opened up a shop in downtown Lancaster that used to be a watchmaking school. So it really just doesn't get more poetic than that. So I went to that grand opening. I went to the collector convention. I had a blast at Brent Miller Jewelers. And then I also met up with members of my Patreon group that, live in that region, that roundabout area. And we had a private meetup. We went to a condo that's owned by Brent Miller Jewelers, and we had barbecue, and we brought our watch collections. And I just got to hang out with watch buddies, and we looked at our watches. We ate good food. We had good drinks. We just had a good time. So really, it was a fantastic experience, and I'm looking forward to going to the next year event of the NAWCC, the collector convention. And I don't know, it's always fun to go do something that you're passionate about and make a trip out of it, make an experience out of it. So had a great time. I'm looking forward to the next year. And if you live anywhere near Tennessee, I'd love to see you there. I'd love to meet up. I'd love to talk watches. I'd love to share this experience with you. I'll leave a link in the description for the dates, the location, all of that stuff. It's still well in advance. You have some time to start planning and making that trip a reality. So I hope to see you next time. Let me know if you have any specific questions. And if you've made it this far, I would appreciate if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I try to post every other day, varied watch content, rambles and reviews and comparisons and rants and shorts and you name it. I try to put it all out there for you. So thanks for watching today. I'll see you in the comment section.
So this is a Model 22 deck watch chronometer, which was made by the Hamilton Watch Company during World War II for the U.S. Navy. And they produced about 10,000 of them.
That's a good amount.
There was a surplus of them after the war, and Hamilton provided them to their dealers so that they could put them in their shop window as a marketing and an accurate timepiece that they could display.
Yes.
And they were given to dealers for $100 after the war, and they put them in their windows along with their Hamilton watches, and that sort of invited people to come in and look at the Hamilton watches. But it was a super accurate timepiece based on the railroad watch, which Hamilton produced in the 1930s. And it's essentially a enlarged railroad watch. It's highly finished, Geneva stripes.
Yes.
And 21 jewels, as the railroad watches were. It's basically just an enlarged railroad watch.
Yes.
With Ellenvar hairspring, resistant to changes in temperature, and super accurate to within a few seconds a day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I'm assuming these shops, they would use this as a reference point also in addition to advertising.
That's correct.
To set time too?
Yep, that's correct. And some of them actually put them on their jewelers' benches to time watches that came in for service.
Yeah.
So
that is so fascinating.
Yeah. It was a prized possession by a lot of jewelry stores throughout the United States.
What does it say there under the important notes? Right down there.
Yeah, so this is a setting instruction. There was a safety mechanism that the Navy required Hamilton to incorporate into the design.
Okay.
You basically have to depress this button to change the time.
Okay.
There was a similar mechanism on railroad watches to prevent people from accidentally being able to change the time.
Yes.
So
to catastrophic consequences?
Correct, yep. It was very important that a ship have accurate time to do navigation, similar to a railroad needing, the locomotive needing to know exactly what time it was.
Yes.
So they didn't have collisions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, I have a couple friends that enjoy the automatic marathons, and
This
they
is a
say,
very popular model. It's called the GSAR.
yeah, just with how tough they are, how they're always legible, how the bezel feels like really solid, well built. So, I mean, it's a great sports piece, I think.
Yeah, they're very popular with law enforcement, military, ex-military. This is actually the newest model. It's an aviation watch.
Okay.
And that was introduced in April of this year. Extremely popular. Marathon sold over 1,000 of them already.
Wow.
to civilians. But it is an actual U.S. government issue watch. And what's kind of cool about it is, and the owner of the company spent about 5 years redesigning this case, but it's just got a really nice Parkerized case.
Okay.
Like just a non-reflective, almost like a gunmetal finish. The bezel, he spent a lot of time designing the bezel to have a really nice feel. It's bi-directional, so you can turn it both ways, and you can set it to a second time zone, which is really important if you're navigating in an aircraft. You want to know what time it is in Greenwich so that you can actually set your navigation correctly.